You are now watching Pan in Motion TV.
Hey y'all, this is Pan in Motion TV and I'm your host Kendall K. Williams. Today we have none other than the one and only Jahlani Roberts, aka Professor Awesomesauce. When I met Jahlani, it was actually in Trinidad. We're both Brooklyn-based musicians, but I met Jahlani in Trinidad. I met him as a pan player. He had came down from New York at the time. We were both playing in the Invaders Steel Orchestra. And I think we were actually staying in the same place.
Yeah,
we were staying in the same place. And I think one of the things that I admired about Jahlani very early was that he was always working on something. Like, this man traveled to Trinidad to play pan, had a drum pad, had drumsticks, and was working on music like every day. And I thought that was cool, especially as a young guy. I mean, I didn't know too much about him at the time. In fact, actually, no, I think I saw you and I met you, well, not met you, but I think I actually saw you a year or two before that. But you were also down in Trinidad, and I think I played with Invaders, but I also played somewhere else, and I was back and forth and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, but that was my first encounter with you, and then I think coming back up to Brooklyn, it could have been, I think in 2012, I followed you for the bomb competition that they had in what I think it was Old Boys and Girls Field or something like that. They had a bomb competition. And you did September for Cassim Stateside, which happens to be one of my favorite arrangements of yours. And then the next being Somewhere in Tobago. I mentioned that to you before as well.
Yes.
But that was sort of the beginnings of me getting to know you and me getting to see what you were doing. And I've always been interested in what you were doing as a young arranger. And at the time, I really had no idea you were trying to be an arranger or really what you were trying to do. And so to now see you come in to slightly older self now, and you're doing so many things. I just think that you have a lot of great things to offer, and I think that a lot of people, as much as they look up to anybody else, can also look up to you and would maybe hire you for something, maybe hire you for a gig, hire you to arrange, hire you to do some acting, which we'll talk about later. So I mean, tell everybody what you do. Like, who is Jahlani? How did you get into pan? What was it about?
I got into pan through family. My cousins, sisters all played pan from before. Well, I'm the oldest, but my cousins all played pan from before me, and even my sister, who was younger than me, started playing before I really got into it.
Right.
And I kind of just watched them go through the motions of practice and competitions, and coming home from rehearsals to practice some more. And while they were home, they would kind of show me things here and there. Mainly my sister. She would show me music that she learned on the guitar pan. So after getting into high school and learning how to play drums there by force, I decided, all right, well, I want to become a better drummer. So where do I go to learn how to become a better drummer? And all the good drummers I knew were in Cassim and in the steel pan community. So I ended up coming to Cassim to learn from Jerry Guy. Big ups to Jerry. He's like the first drummer that I really studied. I knew of the drummers that came before him. Of course, I always was around Tashard. I was around the bands growing up, but I never really studied it, or I wasn't really paying attention to what was going on until that time. That was like 2008.
Yeah.
And from there, I remember I asked Travis, begged him to play guitar, and I remember I was trying to convince him, like, I know Blame It, I know Hi-Hat, I know these little songs here and there, can I please strum? My sister and Keisha gonna help me? And he was just like, yeah, no problem.
Right.
And I tried to use that to get closer to the drummer. Ended up falling in love with playing pan in itself. And really, one thing led to another. It was never really that I wanted to be an arranger or wanted to be a soloist or wanted to do anything. I just wanted to keep playing. And,
Right.
And I wanted to find a way to pursue that passion and make like a long-term successful career out of it, as opposed to just a hobby on the side, which is what like a lot of people end up having to do.
Right. Yeah, I agree with that. That's dope though. I mean, you got into pan initially wanting to drum. You got into the band because you actually wanted to drum.
Right.
Yeah, that's cool. I mean, I feel like you don't hear much of that. I don't know. I could be wrong. I mean, Jerry is kind of also not that far off, to be honest. Actually, he ended up playing pan first before actually getting into drumming.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so a lot of people don't know that, but I haven't heard many stories of a lot of people getting into pan or going to the pan yard to play pan to get close to drumming. So I think that's cool.
Yeah, because I mean, the best drummers that I've seen with my own two eyes have come out of a pan yard.
Come straight from the pan
yard. And right here in Brooklyn, they're everywhere. So I really needed to come here first to get that essence of. Well, there's more than just the technical side of it.
Right,
it's really the culture that's around it also, and that's what made me fall in love with playing pan. It was the pan yard nights. It was hanging out and building relationships that went beyond the pan yard.
Right. So that atmosphere that brings
and that just helped foster the whole working process. Like that helped you want to get better. Helped you want to sharpen your tools with the person next to you, especially if you're two friends having friendly competition or just helping each other or doing something on the side. Like that sparks the passion in the beginning stage. And from there just blossomed.
That's cool, man. So you've recently done a play. You've acted. Yeah, you acted as who?
I was Lipo, the Pan Man, in the Pan Man musical, written by Frankie Duke. Shout out to Frankie Duke and Michelle Minette Gomez. She was the director. It was a brilliant play. And I was blessed to be a part of it, so thanks to them for that. But I was Lipo, 16-year-old Pan Man. It was staged back in Trinidad. Well, of the setting, it was it was done in Brooklyn, but the setting was back in Trinidad. And it was just about how Pan went from something that was overlooked and underappreciated, and it was a Bajan thing. It was never really anything that anyone with stature in the community did. You only did it if you were a lowlife, a vagrant, a thug. Definitely not female. And it showed how it went from that and me as Lipo kind of being rejected and shunned, even in my own household, to now taking that instrument and changing the circumstances of my entire family. Because we grew up, of course, a little unfortunate, a little poor. And with my talents, I was able to elevate us into a new tax bracket. I was able to kind of get the community to respect us, to get funding for my art, which in turn helps the family. So it was a great play.
And that's good. How many young people would you say actually came out to the play?
A lot. Fun fact, I signed my first 2 autographs.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like legit autographs. I had people jokingly say, "Oh, sign my thing," but this was 2 legit playbills, and they came from kids about 6, 7 years old.
Nice.
They were just in awe of the pan on stage, and their parents came up to me with them like, "Can you please sign the playbill?" They really enjoyed it, and that was probably one of the most touching things that ever happened to me.
That's cool. I like that young people can come out to these things, which is why I asked, because I feel like you don't hear about a lot of plays and stuff like that happening. And outside of this, like I went to see the play when it happened for the first time, or when you were in it for the first time, which was that was back in June, right?
Yeah, early June.
And I think I actually came the second day, like June 3rd or something like that. And I was really pleased with the play. I was really happy with it. But again, like you don't see a lot of plays happening. Definitely not in Brooklyn or on the New York scene. Maybe in Trinidad, I'm sure at some point in time or another. And the only play that I think I really know of and I've seen to any capacity was a play that was done by some students at Florida Memorial College. I think it was still college at the time, and then Florida Memorial University. And a few people. Quentin Rose went there. Foster, Lyndon Gomez, Freddie Harris III, Kareem Thompson, myself, Leroy, Iman. Yeah, a lot of people. A lot of people went through that school. But when they were there, when Iman and Kareem and Leroy was there, a few others were there, they actually put on a play, and I think it was loosely based on a guy named Big Mike, who was based in Florida and is a pan tuner, and it was sort of loosely based on his life and sort of how he came up. But it was also sort of off the same ideas of the play that you were in, And I think that history is important, because I feel like a lot of us, we don't always get it, and there's a lot of parts about history I don't even know, I'm sure that, it's missing, and so I think it's good to be able to show that, to the young people. If a lot of young people came out, I think that's a great thing.
Yes,
I think that's a great thing.
It's a great start, especially considering for steel bands in the community, we continue to keep ourselves active with the youth. Generally through schools, And that's kind of mainly one of the things I do now, teaching the youth in schools.
Right.
Programs that are started through mergers between the school and steel bands, and they'll bring me in as a teaching artist or a specialist to source the class, and I'm always getting an influx of young kids, and it's kind of my job to train them, nurture them on, of course, the culture, the technical side, but also the history and the importance or the significance, and mainly that this instrument is just that, an instrument. It's not a novelty, it's not some special thing, it's not a trick. Right. It's not a gimmick. You don't just play one style of music. Right. So the classes are really to kind of showcase that and break that barrier. Because, boy, I tell you, there's so many times I've asked simple question of where do you think steel pan's from? And I get everything from the Bahamas, Japan, China. Somebody thought it was made in Miami.
So you're an arranger. You're an educator. You teach in schools all over Brooklyn, because you teach in a number of schools, right?
Yeah.
Brooklyn. Okay. And you've been doing that for a couple years now.
Yeah, I've been doing that. Well, when I was a junior in high school, I was teaching seniors in high school.
Oh wow.
Shout out to Jolene. That was like my first instructor that they put me to partner with, and that's who I learned the tricks from. I watched her and I understood. Okay, this is how you control the classes. This is how you facilitate music. This is how you run this.
Right.
So yeah, shout out to Jolene, shout out to Kasim, my home band, the band I started with. They were the first band to give me an opportunity to teach in. Right. That was I don't know, 7 years ago now.
Wow. That's crazy. That's a long time.
Yeah, it feels like forever.
So you arrange, that's sort of how you started off playing pan, right? You started off playing pan. I met you as a pan player. Then found out you were an arranger. You teach quite a bit, and you have been teaching quite a bit. You also do quite a bit of performing, and you actually came out with a video that I thought was very dope, and it was a cover of Rihanna's Wild Thoughts. Yes. So how did that come to pass? Because I think that was in my opinion, it was a very great project. I think it was something a little different, and new, fresh that you did, and it also connects very much so with like the younger community. And you're also taking pan now and sort of showing them like, hey, we just don't play one style of music, so you're playing this kind of hip hop, R&B kind of infused with a Caribbean flavor that Rihanna gives, and you're taking that, you're taking a pan and you're basically playing that kind of music, and it's something that I think a lot more people they can relate to, because I mean Rihanna, we're talking Billboard 100, you know what I'm saying?
Number one artist.
Yeah. So how did that come about?
Well, going through this process of just playing and trying to figure out what I wanted to do with the pan, I realized I felt like there wasn't really much going on as far as production goes. You can, YouTube or Google steel pan videos, and you always kind of come across poor quality, either in audio or video. There's nothing ever properly produced. There's nothing like on the level of a Vivo, for example, or anything close to that. Even a tier 2, tier 3 version of it for a steel pan. So I kind of just wanted to do something like that. And I kind of went on YouTube. I saw this guy named Keyshawn Julian who posts steel pan videos, and I seen a couple that he did. So I was like, yo, this is actually a cool idea. I want to really take this concept and make it my own. So Wild Thoughts was really an accident. It happened because I was gigging a lot, like I perform a lot, and people kept asking me if I had a CD out to sell. So I just decided to record some songs for a CD. In the midst of recording one of those songs, which was Wild Thoughts, I ended up meeting up with a friend, and we were hanging out in the park, and we were just talking, sitting around a bunch of trees, and he kind of just dropped the idea in my head, like, yo, this is a nice area. It kind of reminds me of like a Wild Thoughts kind of vibe, because we were just playing the song a lot. And we were just joking about starting the video, or kind of just doing it randomly, but we decided to pursue it and take it more seriously. One day in the park, just a random day with a camera, a couple friends, my pan, and the video came to life.
That's nice.
It was amazing. And it really embodies everything that I'm trying to do now as far as elevate the level of production and artistry that goes on. I want people to really shift how they perceive the instrument. Because, and then on the flip side, I want us to take more of an initiative. Because I feel like on both ends, the people in the quote-unquote industry, or the people make the power moves, the people with money that usually control production in the industry, or that are heads of projects, when they see pan, they really see it like a niche.
Right.
You know, they see it like beach, Caribbean, cool, island. They don't.
Novelty.
Right.
Yeah.
But we kind of live in that because when we do gigs, we give them what we want, what they want.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas I feel like if we took it into our own hands and showed them this is what we can do,
right,
then it'll shift the way they approach us. It'll shift the way we approach our own culture, and it'll give people that come after us more opportunities to do different things aside from just arrange for panorama or go on a gig. Like, what if I want to drop a video? What if I want to start a clothing line? What if I want to start a TV show or coverage for Steel Pan, anything like that.
Right.
You know, so the video is really to spark that.
Nice. That's a very great outlook on being able to do that with a video, like using that as a platform to show people, you know, how many things can be done with this. Because I think there's really an infinite amount of possibilities that lie with the Steel Pan, and I feel like not enough people see that, which is a big part of the reason why I started Pan in Motion on the whole, and then having Pan in Motion TV, and that people can see and hear about your story, my story, the stories of as many people as we can really reach out to understand like what we go through, what we do, how different, you know, things are, and you know, and stuff like that, and just, you know, get to know us, get to know what we do. You know, we have capabilities, we have credentials, we have all these things, and the market and the world is so big that sometimes they don't think to maybe search for this, or they don't stumble upon it. You know, they see what it is, you know, or they see what they know, you know.
You got to put it in front of them.
Right.
I love to draw comparisons to other industries because they're not that different. I mean,
they're really not.
The only difference is what you're selling, what you're soliciting. But other than that, business is business.
Yeah, it is.
And the reason why you can have an ESPN where people will watch sports for 24 hours nonstop is not because we want to watch the game over and over again. It's because we have fallen in love with the story behind the game.
Right.
Like SportsCenter always says, you might know the score, but you don't know the story.
Right.
So they're already trying to play to the personality of the athlete.
Yeah.
We never play to the personality of the artist.
Right.
We never really play to the personality, the person behind the pen or the players behind the band. We don't go beyond the surface. It's kind of just like we see them play, and it's usually in person. Or we'll see a recording and it's either a big event or something of not high quality.
Right.
And then we'll probably be impressed for the moment, and that's it until we see another performance.
Right.
There's nothing there's nothing to leave you craving.
Right.
Or looking for more. You know, so.
Yeah, definitely. So what's next for Jahlani? What's next for you? What do you have coming up? Any projects? Any shows, concerts? Anything?
Well, I have a Christmas project that I'm working on right now, seeing as the holidays almost upon us. I'm working on another video, more of a production. It's more of a band recording / video, as opposed to Wild Thoughts, which was an instrumental and a solo Steel Pan.
Right.
Now I'm working on taking a whole band to the studio, really recording each part to play with the audible production and how it comes out in your speakers and your headphones. I want it to sound really high quality.
Right.
And I'm working on putting a video together with that, kind of a nice story.
Nice.
Something to bring out the Christmas spirit for the public, but also, again, something to show them that this instrument is not just what you think.
Right. Okay, that's good. That sounds good. So, so we know that Wild Thoughts is on YouTube.
Yes. On YouTube.
Is there any other way that folks out there can reach you?
Yeah. Well, of course, you can look me up online. You can Google Jahlani Roberts. You can YouTube Jahlani Roberts, Facebook Jahlani Roberts, Johnny Andrew Roberts, Instagram Professor_Awesomesauce. You can go on my group's website, Brooklyn Steel Orchestra, and you'll find all that information. You might see somebody else's information. So yeah, go on BSO, BrooklynSteelOrchestra.com. You can find me there. Gig Salad, if you guys are looking for a musician to hire, you can find me on Gig Salad or Gig Masters underneath the band Splash. So I'm everywhere. You could find me Tuesdays and Thursdays if you want to learn some Steel Pan, free Steel Pan at IS 68 on 82nd and Flatlands. You can find me there. So just follow me, stay in the loop. I got a lot coming, a lot of work to do, a lot to release.
Awesome. All right, Jahlani, thank you for doing this, and we hope to have you again here sometime. All right,
hope to be back. Thank you.
Yeah.
in Motion.
Thank you for watching the latest episode of Pan in Motion TV. We hope you enjoy. Look out for future episodes on Sundays. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment below. Right? Follow us on Instagram at Pan in Motion and check out our website, paninmotion.com. Peace.